Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is Monday, February 17th, 2025. And what we're looking at today is going to be the dollar index, the futures market, and some indices. We got about 1 minute and 15 seconds before we kick this thing off. I kind of went over, what we were looking for on the mastermind. Also, kind of went over some of those things on that end of the week of what we could expect for today on that video I just released. So today, what I'm looking for is about 1 minute out. I'm kind of seeing that dollar could find some strength today after capitulating lower into this 50% of this weekly area like I talked about. And so if we start to see strength back into the previous day high, we might see some pushes down here and some profit taking on the assets that we trade. So let's stay, like I said, it's going to be a lower volume day. It's going to end at noon today here, Central Time Zone, because of President's Day. So, less shots, the better. Okay. So let's get it. So right out the gate, looks like we're getting some bearishness. I love it. Let's see. So watching these 1 hours, like I said, just kind of want to see what we're anticipating, and they're starting to break down just a little bit here. Now, this is very manipulative how they have it, so I'm going to be very patient right here. First minute's explosively bearish, so okay. So price is just continuing to push down, which when we look at the technicals, this is okay, right? We're starting to see breaks lower, which makes sense, all right? And then that dollar strength would make a lot of sense too. Now, will they continue lower? We'll see. All right, this is where I want to get to. 22,220 area here. See if we see kind of some kind of response after this 5 minute break. So I'd want to see basically what I'm showing you guys here is how they respond inside of this area and if they respond. All right, that's the other key. Now we've got ES doing pretty well here, in the same area, right? That first 5 minute candle looks weak. It took internal liquidity, but it hasn't broken the 15.5 range yet. So I would say just continue to watch this price. Anytime the price just sells and there's really no chance, at some point you're going to get a chance to return back to that price. So I don't really force my way into it or try to press the sell as we break out here. Sometimes I do like to take that trade and do a really tight risk, but like I told you guys today, we don't really need to do that. It's up to you though. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. Now, on those management, just really quick, while we have a second here, the management of those swing trades, this is why I said you could be trailing your risk to the current LOD because if price capitulates out all the way back to 22,000 and you have your risk from the trailers here, you'd rather have it possibly probably at the low of day currently. And then if it comes back into that new demand, you're able to play it again. Right. But really watch this area because this is like the area like I was talking about that they'll manipulate. If people can see it starting to short off, they're going to start to press the sell button at the wrong time. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what I want to see, so I'm going to show for the recording side, is we have that 15-minute area like wicking away, but what can happen for this five, right? Will the 5 minute actually start to, and this ES as well from the 6140 start to wick away, or is it, need some more room to go down and continue to reach here? Okay, so let's see here. If we start to get some wickage on that 5 minute after the liquidity grab, when you can see ES in the middle, that would be very interesting to see if they start to trick people into selling after that break. Not really seeing anything yet in the 20 level here. So just still kind of watching this area, guys, because what we're really looking for. Okay, cool. It's pushing a little bit more. What we're really looking for is how that 15 is going to respond. If we're going to get that 5 minute area on a fast push like this, okay? Okay, so just being patient here. Now those 1 hours, like I said, you could see a lot of profit taking, and that's kind of what I'm wanting to read here, is if they're gonna, um, basically continue down and start to squeeze those people from last week. Take some notes here really quick. Okay, so still watching this area, but like I said, if they start to break this area, guys, I think that we would start to see those profit takings from last week swing trades as well as like a mindset with that. So let's see though right here. Not seeing anything yet. Like I said, they've taken that 15 5 minute low technical, so you don't want to be shorting here, right? Because this would be like a breakout. Um, so like I said, I'm just focused on what they're going to do inside this area. If they start to show any response off this demand and key level where it gives me ability to frame up some risk reward, cool. But if not, then I'm just going to be patient and I'll just wait this thing out. And then I would probably like to see somewhere in here the 21, 22 150s or this 22 120 area if they actually push that. But let's see what kind of candle closures we get here with this first 15-minute close of the hour or going into that 8:45, 9 a.m. time. Remember, the markets do close at 12 today, so less shots, the better. Still got a lot of room to go to that 22 one. Let me mark this area actually. Be on alert though, guys, because if they don't break that area, it's still it could be an area for us. All right, watch out ES, responds here as well. just because they're taking liquidity and noobs are going to press the sell button no matter what here. Right, we really want to see some those signals that we look for before we just jump into something here. So like I said, be watching this area on small time frames, start to get that 1 hour wick, right? That 5 minute wickage, and then you can start to frame something possibly in this area if it starts to present. Which I like how the 1 minute is starting to pump, right? So maybe on that pushback down, your risk could go at 22,196, but you'd want to see, like I said, a 5 minute bullish candle print as well. It'd be pretty aggressive right now. So being patient here. Right, so you're kind of watch. You're wanting to see some bullish candle. Now you got the 1 minute one did print pretty nice, so we'll see how that plays out. So watch in this area right here tightly, right? If you start to see some volume come into the markets and 5 minute strength, I'd say on ES, there's a good chance that they may want to kind of retrace some of this after the liquidity grab and retrace some of those New York traders, right? There's possibility, right? Otherwise, like I said, it's just going to fall out and kind of continue lower to those 130s on ES. And same thing here, it would just fall out and continue down to those levels until we get that 5 minute strength candle. So that's kind of what we're focused on here. So I like how that 1 minute price looks, guys. Just want to show that it looks like a midi off that candle. So if you start to get this that 5 minute pump, guys, that's the area right there, and you can play that back up to previous support, aka market open, or back into that New York if it starts to rally from an area like that. But you'd like to see that 5 minute like turn into a bullish candle here in about 2 minutes and start to go over this 22 210s. And then you'd want to see this start to attack on ES 6,140s. And that would really show you that we might attack that like this area here, the 22 2000 or 22,230. Sorry, I can barely talk. But I'd like to see this 5 minute candle be a solid candle first and then take the trade because most likely they'll rip this area up without that 5 minute strength. So okay, so they're still pushing lower here on that five, right? So a lot of profit taking. So I would definitely be patient. And those 1 hours that like they could run down to like that midpoint, which is like 22,150. So just gotta be careful. And then 1 hours here have a lot of liquidity under those 120s. All right, when you go look at the lows, so just gotta be careful and see what we're getting here. So we're coming out on that first 15-minute close. Very interesting, right? So let's see what they end up doing. Just be careful right here. Like I said, it's not your normal day. And so this would be the area like I like to see if that, especially if that, the 1 minute dumped people here before the timing, that looks really good, y'all. Like to be an area. So we'll see. And then where you're trying to give a position like that back is going to be back where that support was, 22, 225s, or back above market or above New York. That would be like very legit. Now, you'd want to see these two double bottoms right here they just made, the support level, aka two, is liquidity engineered. So I wouldn't anticipate too much more than when you draw fibs from the high to low, a 50% retracement. And then we did end up taking that on futures, right? So it looks like this. So I entered off that 1 minute demand, putting my risk at the low, and then I'm playing that back up to market open. So that's my futures of the day, and then I'm just managing those swing trades to potential see if we can get those. Now, if this one doesn't work right here, then I'm good because I only want to take one or two. This will be my first one on here, so I plan to be able to manage this one up to New York, and then getting from the twos up to 250s here. That's kind of a push, to be honest. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So 22,200 up to, the 250s would be a pretty sweet move. All right. And that looks really, really good response when you go and look at the 1 minute, right? And you compare where that is and where our entry actually is, right? Inside the demand candle, risk at the low, like I tell you guys, also in alignment with the 5 and 15-minute low, right? So that's really good. Potentially, yeah. And then I do have that same position on CFD, guys, as an add-on. See if we can get this thing to rally. Okay, let's see if we can actually push though, right? Because it's very difficult in this area, I would say. And you would want to see 5 minute strength. So let's get off that 1 minute here, right? You want to see that 5 minute go above this no wick candle right here, right? If you can get above there, most likely, if you took that 1 minute type of position, I would say if you can get above those 216s, 220s, you're going to be able to trail that risk up on that one con. If you have a two con system, you definitely will be able to do it. And if you did CFD, you could break it into volume in two pieces and see how they're pumping back down already. So, just got to be, you really want to see 5 minute strength. So if this one doesn't work out for me, guys, that'd be it. I don't want to take more than two. I'll take one more, but I don't want to take more than that. I like this response, and I want to stay on that 5 minute because they're going to trick people on mitigations, I believe, right here. So let's stay locked in here. What we really want to see from that higher time frame too is that 1 hour we start to wick away from that 22.2. right, and start to like eat its tail up on that 1 hour. Because if it starts to eat that tail, we're most likely going to print back up to that market open. Um, like this 5 minute has one more minute, so I would say if this 5 minute candle doesn't close above this candle right here, then you'd want to see it closing above this 206s strong to attack the range, right? Because essentially, let's just look at NQ just really quick while we're here. Is you have the HOD, right, until the new low of day that we have, right? So playing back up to the 50% is something I do all the time. And then giving that position back above point of interest is also a key. So let's see if they end up giving us that today or what they're going to do. Okay. 30 seconds before this 5 minute close. So, like I said, if you're not closing 5 minute white candles right here, and then the next two candles aren't, white candles, then it'll topple over to the 22 150s. Good 5 minute close. So this candle could kind of retrace, right? Because I usually take my trade in this candle. It can kind of retrace into the demand, but you don't want to see too much, right? And if you can see this candle go and this candle go and then another one, that's going to be a good chance that you can get back up here, right? But at this moment right here, you'd want to see that area, them jump out of this 220s and this no wick candle just get filled. And then you're starting to see the buildup on ES. So that's perfect, right? Comparative strength analysis. So those are all really good things. Now, if we can get above that 220s, I'll come in here and I'll show that 1 minute. But until then, I don't even care what the 1 minute's doing. Okay. All right, we're starting to pump on that five, right? Nice little push up, right? We're starting to break that 5 minute first high. We're reaching for that area. So just kind of to show you guys really quickly what it looks like, you did get a 1 minute shift in price delivery showing signs of strength. Okay. That doesn't matter because you just want to start reading. Personally, what I like to do is read the 5 minute candle, right? If I'm in a trade. So this 5 minute candle here, like I said, I've played this so many times that they could bring it back into the demand. But if you continue to see this to get back up to where they broke support at market open, that's a really good target. That's a really good area to give back to people that are stuck. In that 1 hour, you want to see that 1 hour start to wick, right? If this is actually going to pump and, start to, all these people that sold late were basically trying to get their stop if it can work out. Really watching that 5 minute right now. Okay, so they're starting to kind of get weak. This is usually the candle. Like if I take the trade, I usually like to play this second 5 minute candle on small time frames. But for today, like I said, I already have the entry, so I'm just looking for price to rally up to this area, market open. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that'll be it for me. Because we only have, like I said, so much time today left in the marketplace. Very low volume. You know, ES starting to pump right there. All right, 853. Let's write this down, huh? Okay. So still watching this area, right? If you get the response off this candle, great. If it just dumps right here, then it's over with, obviously. Because usually I like to take my trade in the 5 minute second bullish candle. So let's see if they want to go a little bit lower today. And remember, they end here. It's going to be 9, so 10, 11, 12. They end here in about 2 hours. So you only have so much time to get to a specific area. Still seeing pretty good strength on ES. I'm wanting to see ES get above those 6,140s and then reach up to this 6,143 would be really nice. Um, but we'll see. Not really seeing the 5 minute price you want to see. Like I said, in this candle right here, let's see how it closes. If you start getting strength from right here, then great. It'll be probably a rocket up to New York or market, but because I still think those HODs are open for grabs. Okay. Okay. Now we break these 5 minute double tops right here. There's obviously resistance. All right, so let's see if we can get this no wick candle to the downside as well. Seeing ES back above 6,139s would be, pretty legit too. Um, we'll see. And we're looking for like market open area right there. Would like to see this 5 minute candle close above this down candle here, right? That's going to show me that there's a good sign of strength to continue, at least back up to where that previous support level was, the 225. So we would need like a solid closure over this blue line to me. And then with ES, right, we took that low. All right, we took that internal liquidity low. So everything under there, right, on that 5 minute, as long as from that where it took that low, right, let's make it actually show up on both here. That 5 minutes getting weak on or NQ salty. All right. So everywhere under here, as long as these 5 minute candles stay bullish above that blue line, then they'll attack this area most likely, right? So we just got to be patient and see what they do. Right, and all I'm really looking at is just technical, just not really anything serious. It's the break of structure, don't sell here, right? You should see, sells taking profit and buy orders fill. Doesn't mean it's going to go up. It just means that's the order flow of things. Okay. I just want to show you guys I do still have my order on, so you don't think I took my order off. Same risk placement, nothing's changed. Okay. Okay. Still got the CFD rocking as well. So about to, you can partial some of them when you want to, the volume. It's a lot easier on CFD because you're a first in, first out rule with futures. But make sure you're protected, guys. There could be a flash moment at any moment on days like this. And so, less volume is better. So it doesn't slip you on some of your orders or something. I would put your order in with your stop loss first. Pretty much. Okay. Now we're starting to push up. Looks pretty good. Now, if we can get above here, right, 6,140 on ES, I would say those are pretty good trades, right? If we can do that, I would think if we can give these back, like I said, above the market open, especially the NQ buys, or above New York or trail the risk, substantially amount, then that's going to be great, right? Okay. As soon as we can get this push out of the area, want to show this, you're getting that 1 hour wickage at, like in that area that we want to see, but we're not seeing the strength that we want to see. Right. We need to see, we got the 5 minute close, how I, anticipating to see it, but now that creates another demand, right? We only have so much time left. So now for me, if I'm in this position from lower, right, and I'm not planning on adding on or anything like that, I want to see these 5 minute down candles in an uptrending market sustain themselves, right? I don't want to see them, go below that technically, because then that's where you start the range starts to get weak and falls over, right? So you want to see if people can buy this back up. I think to the 235s, at least market open today would be a good target for me. Um, and on ES, it just depends, right? They're just kind of dragging it out here too long for me. But I would play back up to New York Open at minimum if you have entries down in the lows. So now they've created that 5 minute demand. Price could kind of come down a little bit to test people, right? It could just fall over, but a lot of the times people are buying late, so it's going to test them in this area a lot. And I don't like this price on ES as much today, so that's why I'm like, I don't even really like the price on NQ as much, to be honest. But it's the fact that we're getting these certain things, and they're gonna, we only have so much time today to play. So let's see here. 9 a.m., 1 hour candle close with the wick. So if you don't see a response, I would say up to those 228s, 232s in this first 15 minutes of nine, then it has a higher chance to topple. 1 hours are heavy too. Let me look at that for. If you have those CFDs, I pretty much just have that risk at the low, just because I have those trailing risk trades as well. So you don't want to be susceptible to nothing retarded. Okay. And so, like I said, if we can reach up to those 228s here on the five, we're gonna get to New York Open. Because when you look at it from me, from my perspective, it's like overnight trades, where is the money, right? So my mentor Jordan Morgan taught me is to identify when you get on the charts where liquidity is, right? So let's see here. Sellers. Why did I change it? Okay, let's see here. Sell liquidity. Didn't I make it that box? Stop losses. Yeah, I made it that one. Okay, so stop losses are here, and people, remember I told you guys, if you sold in a certain spot on New York or at New York, the likelihood of it just them coming back to that area is a lot higher unless it's in a great location. So I'm not saying it has to, because the 5 minutes don't look so good right now, to be honest. Um, and the way they're responding, they're just kind of eating down. So we'll see. ES starting to get really weak and where they're at in the location, right? So it's just you gotta be patient. I like NQ a lot more just because I've played it so many times more. Not as for sure on that. That doesn't give me a 5 minute solid enough candle personally, but I like this one. Okay, so still watching this five, seeing that wicked, seeing that, watching that 1 hour. Like I said, you're gonna want to see that explosion up, those shorts just finally saying, "Okay, I'm done," and then those buy orders just fly in. If that's the case, okay, you'll start to see those, like I said, those shorts cover from New York, and then it just once they give up the order, I think we would shoot up to 235s potentially. Okay, and really how this candle closes. is going to be key to me right here in about 1 minute. If we continue to get what we're seeing there away from those demand candles, then I think like I said, we're going to reach back to that area for sure. Potentially. I don't like to use specific language. You're starting to see YM get weak from those 44.720s. So that's interesting. That looks like a good response there. Okay. And just want to, for the video, purposes, once we reach those 220s, I'll kind of show you guys I still have that same order on futures. I have it locked on CFD. So we're locked around the board. It looks like we're going to end up printing a green day potentially here. If we can get above those 235s, it's for sure for the futures position. I could close it right now for a profit, but I'm just looking to, play my game. Okay, let's watch this 5 minute close and then we'll update the price. Now I still like where it's at, right? You're not getting a 5 minute weakness, right? On the ES, so 5 minute close looking really good here. Okay. So let's see if we can get this pop up to market open, right? Still haven't gotten that area I talked about right here, right? The no wick area. But we still, for the video purposes, like I said, are holding that same trade, 5 minute low, LOD, right? Looking to play back when you look at the actual trade, right? From the high of day, which will be here, right? The high of day down to the new current low of day. I'm playing back to a 50% swing, So if that works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Now, like I said, you're going to want to see, since we got that demand respect, now in my eyes, I want to see expansions on the 5 minute that give me a big enough candle to trail my risk to a top end of imbalance, if that makes sense, right? If you've been following some of my videos. All right, so I want to see that 5 minutes push back up to support that's aggressive, because if I don't see it outside this box soon, they're just gonna kind of build up buyers and then it'll just fall over. All right, so you want to continuously see price pushing in your favor in a direction, right? Marking up, making higher highs or higher lows, marking down, right? Lower lows and lower highs, but you don't want to see stagnant, right? You want to see it slowly grinding to your area. Still seeing good strength out of ES here, right? So that's a good sign for the comparative strength analysis. Um, Now, like I said, if you can get ES to reach to 6,141, that's a good sign. I think we could reach for those 235s, but we're not getting that strength that I want to see. So looking at this area right here, right? This is the demand that I'm focused on, these two, and seeing if they're going to test away or if they're going to eventually trickle over, right? It looks like a good area. And like I said, if I could just see ES extend up to, let me just go ahead and mark this as an alert. If I can see ES pop up to the 6140s, I would be more confident in it. But that 5 minute 15 are starting to get weak, right? And where they're located at on the 1 hour, if you don't see the response quick, it may not be the best, you know? We can get out of this box that I have drawn, right? That's a for sure, that we're gonna, get back into that liquidity from earlier. But if we're having hard times breaking out these 220s on that 5 minute, and those I'd say those 139, 140s over there on ES, it's we just gotta wait. And the price is so distorted today, guys. When you really look at the range, the normal ranges are like 150 or 200 points, and all of a sudden today, the range of the day is 22 281. The low of day right now is 22 192. So we have they've condensed the price down too, right? They distorted the price essentially. So it's just still kind of stagnant here, right? I mean, that 5 minutes starting to get a little weak there. You're not seeing it on ES as much. The 15s on NQ and 5 look pretty good when you just have them side by side. So we'll see what they um, how we print, going into this first 15 minutes of nine. Okay, good 5 minute close there. Now, like I said, I just don't want to see any more candles really get weak on the five into that demand because we've wicked away once, we've kind of pushed away once, and so it's like either we're going to extend up to 235s or, like I said, prices will start getting weak. Let me write this down here. Right, ES looking still strong, 15 and 5. Yeah, so let's just see. ES looks really good right there off that level after it's taking that liquidity below market open. All right, so same thing with this, right? Like I always talk about, is you have an HOD and now you have a new LOD, right? A lot of times, if you can just get to the 50% bounce, it's gonna be a pretty good trade, or you're for sure most likely if you take a good trade, you're able to lock it off and like secure profits. So let's see if they can reach back up there. But if they can't go above, like I was showing you guys here, and they can't get above this no wick candle, then they could fall over first. So we want to see that strength here on the five. And that 15-minute closes in about 3 minutes for NQ, right? Obviously for both. So look at the 15-minute here on the left on ES, and look how it's printing here on NQ, right? Previous supports 22 225s, market opens 235s, and New York is basically 245s. Okay, so let's see if we can get this thing to rally for us here. Okay, starting to get that volume come into the markets, especially on ES, which is good after that liquidity sweep. So can we shoot up to market open, for about a 70 handle move to the upside here from those 200s, right? Well, market opens, excuse me, it's 235s. Normal day, it'd be a 70-point move. Today, it's a it's a 30, 40-point move. That's funny. Now, like I said, the first pop out closure on that 5 minute to me, if we can get that above 220s, that's a good sign because now you guys see we've taken that wick of the candle falling here. So I've taken this trade a lot of times inside this 1 hour area where once they do that, you want to be protected because either, just the location, like I said, the higher time frames. And ES starting to show a little bit of weakness there on that five, but now you're inside what I call the dump candle, right? If it is the dump candle, right? You have a 15-minute, the wickage, then you have the dump. So I'd want to be playing in the low end of this candle with my risk at the low, right? So it's just like if you continuously see, um, price basically have trouble in here, then this might fall, right? But they might just be shuffling people as well to go higher, right? Because of how the 15 looks. So you have to play your entries with LOD, right? Like wherever that LOD gets set, that way you can play the geometry of the area. So yeah, after that wig being like that, it's just kind of like, they got to make a decision. 5 minutes starting to get weak here on NQ, right? So watching that tightly. 15 looks very interesting, right? With 40 seconds left. And so if they can turn into like they'll be pumping people like this right at the end of the 15 minutes, and then it can shift, right? So let's just watch and see if they're kind of shuffling or if they're actually going to push this lower. Okay. Just being patient here. Want to see that 15-minute close bullish, which I'm watching on another window. All right. 15-minute closed bullish, which is a good sign that we might get some strength up to 235s here. Okay. And in the macro timing, right, they manipulate in that last minute before the 15-minute candle. So like if it's, like they manipulate in that 9:14 and then they try to do what they're going to do right at the close. So like I said, we can get out of this area, we can get back to previous support. We're able to lock off that trade. I'll show you guys how I'm going to do it to secure a profit no matter what, which is already, you can basically go do that now. Just, your break evens in the 204s. I have 201. But for right now, like I said, I'm going to look for this 5 minute expansion that gives me an imbalance to trail my risk to there potentially. If the market presents that, like I said, it's now I want to turn this to like a demand area just to kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for there. But we're really watching the 15 more than anything because you're not really getting what you want to see. Same thing here. Like if I started to see it start to get more weak after that wick and not start to fill this imbalance of this move right here, then I'd be like, well, they might want to go lower. Right now, we're piercing out of that area. So I like NQ a lot more, right? When you think about it, I just want to show this again. I like NQ 1 hour 15 a lot more just based on how it's set up today so far. Not saying ES can't rally as well up to that 6,142 is 50% area, but um, you know, so I'm gonna take this off just really quick. I want this to be here. And then we measure from our HOD, which is gonna be, what is it? 22,281s down to the low of day. All right, so we're just trying to see if we can get, like I said, back up to that 50. That 50 would be great. Okay. All right, really want to see this 5 minute just expand, right? Because when you're at the low of days like this, you're hoping people are trying to short these markets as the gravity is pulling us higher. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's just not effort, right? Not a lot of effort. That's what really is the key here is understanding the effort, right? I'm watching volume on another window, not this window, but another like my actual other window. I like the 1 hour pricing on NQ and ES, how they're starting to look, right? We got that draw on liquidity, and then we've got mitigation. Okay. Now, if ES can get outside of those 6,140s, right, kind of like we're doing there on NQ, that shows me that we could be on this 50% play. Okay. Showing more strength here on NQ again. And like I said, on a normal day, we'd be like 40 to 60 handles in profit on a trade like this. And today it's showing us 20 or 30. So it's crazy work. Y'all see how that 15's working over there since we took that draw on liquidity on ES. Like I said, sometimes you don't need much more than that 50% bounce if it gives it to you. Now, what I want to see, just really quickly here, because we're outside the window, I want to see the closure of this 5 minute candle outside of this area, because now that starts to show me on the technical side of the line graph, right? What from here to here, I just want to get back to halfway. Does that make sense? If it was to work out. So every time we get a candle in 20 seconds closure, if you have a really, really fat position or a lot of volume on a CFD, you can start to use that 5 minute down or that 5 minute candle in the uptrending market here. You can do that there. I don't like to do that. I like to use the down candles personally that are solid, right? So it just depends on what kind of trade you have on the board, right? If it's something that's really large in volume or you've got two cons on, start to close some of that off, you know? Okay, so we are starting to push, right? So I just want to move this back to what I was looking at, which was that little demand area here. And ES, right? Gapped up right there. So that's really good. So now can we get into, like I said, these 50% areas? Good solid close right there, right? Creating a 5 minute imbalance. So now what'll happen is like let's say you have your risk in the normal area LOD, you've got a 5 minute pierce out in the area. Well, now when it creates that new candle and it creates an expansion, if it continues to hold that, then you're able to trail your risk based on the expansion, right? So like say for example this candle kind of plays around and it goes up really quickly or whatever, you're going to have an expansion candle outside the range where there'd be probably a new down candle printed where you can trail your risk. But like I said, we're just now out of the area that I would want to see if they're not going to come back and try to like whip these right here. Like I said, you're going to want to see ever since this candle printed outside of the area, you're going to want to see 5 minute prints at least to that wick. Personally, that's what I like to see. And like I said, I'm still, just for the video purposes, I am still holding the futures position, right, in the same spot. Now, I'm going to trail my risk possibly to here, but because we have a slower day, I'm really wanting to just give back as much. There we go. I'm just wanting to give back as much as I can above that 50%. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're starting to pierce out of that area on ES as well, right, guys? That demand. And so now that 50% play looks a lot, makes more sense, right? Okay, let's see if we can get this. Right. Now I just want to see expansions on the 5, right? And on the 15, I want to see, us play back up to 50% bounce play. Nothing too crazy. Giving back above market open, potentially. Okay. Just drop a one in the chat. There's been pretty good walkthrough, even though it's slower. Do you guys feel like you're seeing it a little bit more or is it helping out? The volume's so low today, it's crazy. Now we're pumping on NQ, which is good, right? On that 15. So you want to see, like I said, personally, what I like to see is they got that 5 minute expansion outside the area. Now I just want to see them, the people who shorted late, right? They usually short halfway of this type of candle. I want them to be break even and we can come up and reach for them, right? Or they've trailed their risk down, most likely. A lot of the people did to here. So if we continue to see 5 minute strength from this area, then I would love to see them come back for those New York players here. But it could be short lived. We've gotten back to that previous support as well. So it's all about how these candles close here now. And what I like to see on the 15 is just every print above this blue, like this box. Every time we're printing above that, we're going back into the range that we had of the day, and that's a good sign to me to get back above market still. ES is being very difficult right there, guys. I wouldn't, that's why I love day trading NQ because it's gonna like you could probably find some opportunities too over there. It's just you have to be so patient, dude. You have to be patient with NQ too, but you got to be, you know, very patient for ES. Okay, another 5 minute close, right? Good sign. Good strong or not strong close, but a good close out of it. Now, what you're wanting to see is this 15-minute close out of this area, right? Because the faster we can attack those shorts from New York, the better. If they're going to attack the shorts, you're starting to see ES kind of get weak there on the five, but to me, it's like if they, 66,139 5 minute print up, like I said, at 42s, and we're right on schedule here. All right, I'm going to show the 5 minute here because that's where my eyes are really focused. I do have 15 also still pulled up, but just wanted to see, like I said, in my eyes, this is what I'm seeing. Okay. I'm seeing that people sold a breakout on shorts at New York and put their risk right here, right? Because they were looking like, oh, okay, we're going to get this. Let's sell and cover as fast as possible. Now, the average novice trader didn't sell till here, okay, on that breakout. So the reason why we're coming for their risk, right, is because these are the late traders. All right, these are the people that sold as it was already falling, capitulating out. Potentially. All right, we'll see. A good push over those 6,141s on ES would be a lot more promising, I would say. Let's go. We're still moving higher, guys. So we're attacking that range, that 50% of the area pretty good here. All right, so we're looking for that getting back above market open or above the 50% of the day where noobs will play. If we can get there, 15 looks good, right? So just continues to see potential 5 minute candles. Now, what you want to see here is that price continuing up off this inversion, right, off this imbalance fill. So they do that, and then you see price extend up to this area here. It's coming for people's risk. Same scenario, right? There's nothing different in the ideology of what's going on. The location of New York shorts was shit to me. I told you guys that, right? Then when price comes here, the average novice trader shorts here. Their risk goes here, right? So it's just about playing to where those people are going to be. So we're printing, right? 5 minute candles outside that area. Signs of strength. Watch my 15, right? And so now, if you had a really, really big order on, you could move your risk to the bottom of the 15-minute candle if you wanted to, right? If you needed to secure something. Nice pump right there, right? So remember when fast moves happen, your stomach starts to feel like flustered. Just calm down and think about how you're going to trail risk, right? Now, one thing I do want to bring over just for video purposes, real quick, is higher time frame 1 hours, right? 1 hour draws on liquidity that turned into wicks that turned into mitigations, all right? So you've got to watch higher time frames. There's no way around it. It is what it is, right? So now your 5 minutes starting to kind of give those type of areas I like to see. So let's just say hypothetically you could be trailing based on that breakout, right? Now price comes back down, you're available, right? But me personally, like I said, I want to give back above my POI today to secure the bag. Above market open would be great. You guys seeing how ES is starting to form out of that area? So sometimes it takes longer, but it also if you can wait on it and risk only 3.5 points for 15 every time, then you're good. Okay, let's continue to watch here. Like I said, I'm just really thinking that these are the people that are short. The breakout players are probably the best ones are here. So let's see if they can run back up to those break evens on those people. And if not, this is also the area where price will, like I said, it could just sneak up there and then just drip, right? So you just have to be ready and trail your risk once it gets to POI. If you're already in a position where you need to trail your risk, do it. And so, especially if you got the entries and the locations that I show, right? You have the 22,200 area basically between there and 203. So you could be breaking even if you wanted. I have 201. I could place my risk right now in that 5 minute low, 202s, right? If I really wanted to, right? I can put my risk at that 202 if I wanted, but I'm good right now. I'm also managing the same trade on CFD. So, yeah, and really watching those 1 hours because, like I said, if we can get above these special areas, I don't, based on where we're at on higher time frames, I don't really see us. We could go to 22,300. I don't know, right? But my goal is to get what I know, the broken slot machine, right? I'm not here to guess or hindsight or none of that type of stuff. I'm here to, from data. Yeah, Jasper looks good, bro. I mean, it's just a slow day because of President's Day. That's all it is. I'm still in this. Like I said, I just want to be able to give it back on that futures, a little bit above there. And then the volume that I have on the CFD, I'll exit half of that position because I already have, long positions from last week. So I'll exit half the position, knocking it down to like a $2 position. Paying myself on the personal account today and then on Trade Locker. And then let those just keep running. If this does continue to go, then great. And if it gets up here, we end up selling back our position to noobs and we get that opportunity and it falls over, then great. you know, Either one, I'll take it. So remember, like I said, what did that 5 minute do, guys? It created a top end imbalance, right? Created a top end imbalance. So if you were skeptical in your accumulation trade right now, you would be securing, let's say from the 205s hypothetically up to 225s, about 20 points. And if it breaks you out on one mini, that'd be a good day. All right. Now, like I said, on a normal average day for me on an NQ trade, this thing is 220 to like, this is a 70 point push right here normally. Like on ES, it's manipulated today. That's usually like a 15-20 handle move. All right. All right. I'm going to go to 15 here. I just wanted to show you guys that 5 minute, how it's created. And you guys see it's in alignment with the 15 minute as well. So it's like either they're gonna pump these people that, did this 50% play, or we're getting ready to fall. Go get them, coach. Come on. Good print, I would say, out of that ES area right here, going into noon, all right, when the market actually closes, is right at noon. So if you're in here, you're probably wanting to protect yourself because the market closes a little bit here. So we're pushing up some more, guys. So this, guys. I can be calm now, which is crazy, but this is capitulation. This is capitulation to the point of interest, right? So as it does these things, now we got to act accordingly. Dakota and Top Step is long from the 22 210s, right? So most people are long, I would say rich retail from right in here. And then we have that entry in the 22 201s, which is really good. Okay. Focused on giving back, right, in the right areas. Because that's one thing I learned from some mentors I learned from online is they brought it to my awareness point of interest, but when it comes to applying, right, applying to make profits, those people don't know these rules that I'm showing you guys right here, right? Because they don't act accordingly to the rules that are set out. Okay, we've got a good print here, another 5 minute print. So, like I said, with this expansion being in here, you'd want to see it continue because every time they create an expansion on the way up, that's late players and they like to come back for those, if that makes sense. And so we really would like to see price capitulating above those New York Open. Let me mark it right here. Those New York Open players and their risk. I just want to get above their risk. I don't even really need to be nothing too crazy. But like I said, if you want to, you could go ahead and start to trail your risk up to this first top end of the imbalance, making you available to take more trades and securing a profit on the day. And the way ES looks, since it broke out of that 5 minute dump after taking the draw on liquidity, it's, I'd say those 142s are going to be interesting, right? Because it's the same thought process over here is where those New York shorts, where did they place their risk, right? They either placed it right in here or they placed it at the current HOD, right? And that's why we target these same areas over and over and over because it's where people place their risk. Okay. So even though it was a slower day, we're getting a massive trade on our hands today. Wow. I think we did really good today, guys, for this walkthrough, to be honest. Humbly, too, right? Really, really nice. See if we can get above New York here. Now we're above market. So you could, like what I would be doing on a futures position if you got a fat order on is using that 5 minute low, right? Because if it comes down fast, you want to secure as much expected value as possible and make yourself available to take another trade if possible. Or if not, you just come out with a green day. Okay. So let's see what we get here. Like I said, that 5 minute coming to market open, giving back above point of interest, that's a beautiful play. It's a 50. No, it's not 50. Usually it's a 50 handle move. It's a 35 handle move today, right? On average, when I see a type of move like this is like a 50, 60, maybe 70 handle move. Now let's watch 5 minute prices. We go into the last 15 minutes of nine, going into the first 15 minutes of 10, right? The last 15 minutes of nine, if we can continue to, get these New York shorts, their liquidity, great, you know? Right. And it's just we've gotten to a certain point today where we push back to market open. So if basically let's just say price failed here at market and we get the weekly would start to print bearish, if that makes sense, right? So like when I'm watching market open price, the only thing I'm really paying attention to is like how the week can end up going. If we go above that, we're going to continue to print bullish, right? And if we start to print away from that market open, our week would start to print bearish. So when I look at a 1 hour, right, it looks really good to continue up at least into the supply of 22, 247s, 250s, I mean. So we'll see. All right. But if it starts to get weak here at market open, it's expected. And like I said, if you needed to, what I would do on a 15 and 5 is trail my risk to the top end of the imbalance to secure profit on the day no matter what. But I said, like I said, the mindset of getting to just right here above these New York open traders, like their risk has to be somewhere right in there. Starting to get a little bit of weak here at the market open, which makes sense. Right now, it's all about that 5 minute. If that 5 minute can just go one candle, I believe, up to take out those New York traders, that's going to be the flush. And the reason I think they still can do it on the 5 is the way NQ, the way ES is printing, right? Based on the range of the day. So you're always wanting to be looking at this, kind of having an idea of where that 50% is. So now that you've, say you took a buy down here and you've gotten back to the 50, you're pretty much you can secure the bag, because you don't know what can happen from this area right here. Okay, so this is where they're going to start, messing with people, right? After a push like this. Now, what my eyes go focused on a 5 minute is, do we get like it can go below, it can print below this candle, but does it print? Um, does it close print? Right? It can wick, it can do all this. Like I want to see the actual closure of this 5 minute candle. If that 5 minute closes on a line graph lower than that body, this range is gonna be weak, and they can go back down. And you have double bottoms, you have areas, you know what I mean? But if they can continue to wick away from this area on this and not close below 22,228, then I think we just can slip this area still. So let's be patient. Let's see what we can get. Now that 1 minute though is breaking down. So like I said, this is a moment where I could say on that futures position, if you wanted to, you need to secure the bag, right? At least make sure that you don't have any risk on the table. Okay. No reason to have any risk on that table right now. All right. If you have 200, 201s, like my risk right now is right here at the bottom of this wick on the 5 minute. So if it comes below that, I'd be stopped out for a small, from 201s to 20, what is it, 204s. So very small profit, but which I could secure a lot more right in here. But like I said, I'm just being patient here today. Also having the position on CFD and whatnot. So my mind's pretty open and receptive right now to seeing. So I just think that, when I'm looking left here at my 1 hours, I just see us getting into the supply or giving back that order in supply would be a lot better. Like I said, worst case, New York open. So took about a minute and 50 seconds on this candle. Um, so like I said, it just comes down to me where it closes. Because if it closes below that area, then you're starting to get a 1 minute mitigation, right? Lower low, pushes, it's starting to break. But if you don't get that close, right, below that level, then that means that 1 minute mitigation really isn't that serious. But like I said, coming up to that area, on that CFD, if you've got a pretty good amount of volume, you exit some of that volume there with anticipation to add it back possibly. All right. But that area is pretty sound. I mean, I think we found, pretty good locked off area. So let's see what they end up doing here between now and 10:15. It's all about this candle closure to me right here. If this candle, like I said, closes lower and they're rejecting the 50 on ES, I would be protected on anything that you have for sure. And honestly, like I said, depending on your entry, I'd be protected already. You know, if you got anything below 212s on NQ, I would say you want to be locked off. I'm watching the five on another window, so you guys, what I'm gonna do, we'll watch the close actually. We'll watch the close, and then I'm gonna go back to 15 because, like I said, I just want to see one more 15-minute candle go um, above that area that we're looking for. Okay, good. We didn't close below that candle, so that's a sign that we haven't broke, right? So now this one candle, what I see happen a lot of times is this, if it is going to go bullish, this will become the stair step candle, right? The down candle in the uptrending market. Price will go over it, right? And come back down into that area if it is the candle. Now, if it's going to fall off, you're going to see like, obviously it reach down into that imbalance and you're going to see this 1 minute mitigation, right? Push up, break a structure, and you look at technicals, right? You'll see it work out. But this is why I don't stay on the 1 minute because location of the five, right? It can definitely do it and you can add on, but it's just you just watching ES. It's like I'd love to see some weakness on ES as well. Otherwise, I think they're just trying to manipulate this area, being so high away from the accumulation. And just you're not going to expect much with like, the stock's not open and stuff. So you're going to be point A to point B, protect yourself type situations. And CFD is probably your best bet if you've already been able to secure the futures profit because that way um, you can still, accumulate profits without having to be sitting at the chair. Okay, so we did get that 5 minute close, and so I'm watching that on another window. And what I'm going to watch here now is this 15-minute area, right? Because either that's it for the day, or they're just gonna reach up, I think, and get those New York players first. So kind of seeing that weakness, guys, there, right? On ES, that 50% of the swing of the day, with it being a slower, lower day. Um, I would be very protected there, right? Because you want to continue seeing the 5 minute strength above that level. If not, like I said, people are going to give up. And we've already broke lower, showing that weakness. So let's see what we get going into 10 here. Okay, so that 1 minute is starting to break down the mitigation that we like to see within the area. So just be protected, right? For me, like I said, I'm only taking that. That's my only trade that I'm going to take for that futures. So if it starts to reject that area, like I said, you could trail that risk up to the top end of the 5 minute imbalance to secure a profit on the day, right? Like right in here, right? Or you could probably move it into here, which is obviously liquidity spot. But like I said, I want to really focus on how these 5 minutes play right here in this area. All right, and you're still kind of seeing to me like they're just when they create these imbalances, expansions on the way up, they fill them sometimes and then continue. But when you look at the actual area that's locked off, like the accumulation area that I've been focused on today, was pretty much everything below that candle that we're looking at there, right? And then we're looking at pretty much in here. So everything in there was the accumulation we marked up to a nice area to pay ourselves, in my eyes. All right. Now you're getting 5 minute weakness here. All right, on both from those specific areas. So now you've got a closure sign of weakness, right? So if you get one more candle that goes too much farther past this and like starts to break down this range, I think it can go lower before reaching the levels we want. But this right here, this candle holds. I've seen, like I said, every time I see a down candle start to print, I start to see that could be the stack that takes us to the area that we want to get to. So maybe they're manipulating here. Let's see. That's why I stay on the five, because if you go on that one, you probably played the 1 minute mitigation, right? But all you did was get caught in shorts at the halfway mark of the day, right? I want to short in the same areas I tell you guys all the time, because when I give back in those areas, I'm in order flow with the markets. Okay. So just so you guys know, the trade that I have on the board that I showed earlier, I am risk off, right? I got in at 22,201. There's no reason to have any risk on it. And what I'm essentially waiting for on the line graph technicals is I'm waiting for this to close above this area, close and capitulate above point of interest, and then I start to trail that risk to this down candle in the uptrending market on the 5 minute. Okay, if the market gives us that opportunity. I would love, like I said, I don't see it very much farther like than a 1 hour area if it can go, if it's not gonna, because it's either gonna come up, reach the supply, people take profits, right? And maybe it topples, or this comes up and then just destroys people sitting in the top. So my futures position, no matter what, I'm gonna take profits on that New York open area, and then my CFD I'll manage to the higher time frame if possible. That looks pretty good. So what you're really wanting to see, like I know I showed you guys this, you're wanting to see if this 5 minute and 2 minutes and 45 seconds can body close above the last white candle here. If it's doing that and it's attacking this wick on like the 100 tick players, great. If not, though, right, you could see it like because of how this is getting weak from the 50%, you could see price start to mitigate away back and fill the imbalance before going higher. So for me, it's just coming down to, the next 2 minutes, how does this candle close? And technical wise, if it was to go back below that down candle, that's a break of structure lower, showing signs of weakness. Okay. Like I said, I just want to get above New York. That would be a beautiful type of day. Give back some of those CFDs, right, in the right area, and then be able to walk away with risk trailed and whatnot. So, and while we have a second here, I'll kind of just show that markup. I deleted some of them. This was our buy from last week that we're holding, and then we have another buy from right here. So basically, essentially holding this area and then trailed all the risk up to that previous day low. And then today, if we end up, extending higher and this 1 hour candle becomes a down candle in the uptrending market, I'll continue to trail that risk on those massive positions based on the structural lows. So that's like my game plan right now. Okay. 1 minute before this 5 minute close. So like I said, you're gonna either see it push the 1 minute mitigation players that played, this area, which I think is kind of like midpoint, or you're gonna see, like I said, the 5 minute extend higher and start to attack more of those New York shorts. and you'll see the demand test, right, on ES to continue higher. But just not looking that great. You're seeing YM just completely tank right now, 44,720. So that could be a good sign that we get a little pump here. Okay. Watching a 15 as well, right? You know what we're looking for in the 5 minute print, 15 minute print. We're looking for another sign of strength, right? So this 5 minute print's bullish, good close. Is it closing bullish? Good close bullish. So now you're just anticipating that this next 5 minute candle would extend up to the area that we want. And then that 15 minute would look, nice and explosive through to attack up to supply 22,250s. Potentially, right? But like I said, if they don't, and they reject this area, go back down to the five and understand that like you have that down candle now. Like I say, you have your trailed wrist to the top end of the imbalance, right? And there's a lot of people that have done that inside that expansion. So if it goes below this demand, there's two things that can happen. It could hold this area and just continue to do what we want. It could also just kind of slowly fill the imbalance in those smaller time frames, fill and then go, right? There's a couple different options. But like I said, when you're looking at that 1 minute, you're not getting pushes away from the supply can, or you're getting the push away from the supply candle pretty quickly here. Okay. So it's just now all about how you want to manage it. Me personally, I'm just going to stay break even. If it comes right back down on that, that's fine. I've already partialed CFDs and stuff. But for the futures position, all right. Now, if you're in a different position than me, you could be, like same location. You could trail your risk up here, right? And then it would make you available to play a reaccumulation. But for me, I'm just going to wait until we get to where we want to get to, because I'm starting to see it on ES really good here as well. And now we're starting to do that extension like I want to see. 15-minute candle starting to look like that, right? To slip those New York traders. And this is another great day, I think, potentially. Can't say that until we get to the spot, okay? Okay. You see ES is being a lot dirtier today. You have to really be on your P's and Q's on that one. Oh my goodness. All right, we're getting that extension up. We're pushing to that point of interest on NQ, attacking those 1 minute players, right? All we're doing right now, guys, right? Think about it, is we're just attacking people that shorted 1 minute mitigation. That's all it is. Their risk was at the top, their location of their trade was trash. All right, so it took their risk. Now, when they do a draw on liquidity, you want to see the 5 minute extend up to the area, because if not, like I said, anytime there's a draw on liquidity, it can be over. All right, let me move this box so we can see it actually clear the exact area that we want, which should be right there. Okay, pushing into the area, guys. So on those CFD trades, if you have intraday trades and you have some fat volume, give it back above New York, go break even, or put your risk at the low because you shaved it down so low, and let this thing do its thing. You know? Okay. Starting to push that area, right? As you get close to POI, if you guys feel any kind of way, trail your wrist to the top end of the imbalance. I promise. You're never going to be upset doing that ever. So it looks like we came back for those New York traders I talked about in the beginning of the stream, right? Because of the location of that trade was a breakout trade. If it would have been more inside of a location of supply demand, it's different. But because it's that's how I know, it was engineered potentially. So guys, what do we do as we get into POI on our trade, right? We trail our risk to the top end of the imbalance, securing some back, okay? In case it does fall. ES looking really good now, right? We're not failing the 50 and we're absorbed people. That's what it feels like. All right, so I just want to see them get above that New York price. That's going to be pretty crazy if they can just get above that 241. Even right where we're at now, all the people that went break even or whatever, they're all getting hit out. So the only people left would be the people that have their risk right above this wick. So we'll see if this 5 minute how it prints, right? And see if it continues to, because we're technically breaking structure, right? So this could be the area, like I told you guys, that we need to focus on. Okay. So let's see if that's going to be it for me today or not. We'll see. We'll continue to manage the CFD positions if it does do something like that. Now we're starting to get that good play that we like to see. Now imagine this, guys, where your location is a 1 hour trade. You're inside the 50% of the down candle, right? It being in the 50%. So you're either going to reach up above New York into supply or it's not. It looks pretty good. Trailed risk is where the blue line is, guys. I just don't like to look at P&L. It messes with my head sometimes. And then, not to go to 1 minute, but when you look at that 1 minute, that's a beautiful, looks like a beautiful play to maybe continue. All right. They want those people's risk, guys. I know it. So now we're into 10. So between now and 10:15, if we can see this grabbed, I'm going to be out of there, guys, for futures and we'll manage CFD. So we're about 10 handles or less away. All right, 241s, 245s would be like the area. Filling that gap essentially right here would be, really clutch. Okay. Really clutch day. Capitulation above New York, right? ES moving as well, right? Right. Make sure that risk is trailed right now, right? As price is pushing. All right. Because now this liquidity looks trash to me, guys. Like this looks really good to get to if they continue to do it. You just don't want to be trying to force anything. Okay. So really watching this price when they're in point of interest, because this is the area where people make the mistakes and do the opposites. Okay. Let's see if they're going to run those 250s. They run those 250s. It's pretty good. But they ran the area that we talked about, right? So that's what I wanted, and that's good. All right, but I still do see that they could take, like I said, this is the M pattern to me that where indecision was like this, and then price fell. All right, so that's what I'm trying to basically see is if are they going to come for those M pattern players, all right? So I'm going to take that off. You guys can see that on the recording now. And if you're up a bag and you're trying to squeeze it, start using this 5 minute candle's low, right, to secure your risk, right? Just keep pulling it on that low, and every time a new 5 minute candle opens and starts to go, use the low. All right, that's how I like to manage my risk personally. ES now as well, right, is coming for those New York Open traders that sold the breakout. All right, still getting good 5 minute price here with this close, right? So you want to see that next 5 minute candle open, all right? Watching ES and see if you can get that 71% retracement back above New York. All right, taking a look at YM, it's starting to, come back and start to rally a little bit off the 1 hour 15s. Okay, so this area is key. Let's see here. Okay, it looks really good to trail your wrist to here, right? So let's see. Now, if you want to condense down, right, even more, that 5 minute area is going to be pretty much the best 1 minute area too. So, it's really up to you. If you really want to condense on the one, you could just come down here and use this low, right? But that puts you internal, all right? So it's up to the person. But on those CFDs, I did partial some of the move above New York because I plan to let the runners run, and so we're just watching now, guys. At this point, what's going to happen? I think that when you're looking at ES, it's pretty easy to see that we're still gravity pulling back to the imbalances. So you want to give back in those areas where noobs make the mistakes. All right. And look where we're at, right? When you're looking left on a higher time frame, makes sense, right? Because we've gotten above New York, we've gotten to the 1 hour supply, and it's all about location, okay? Giving back in the right areas. So here about 10:15, I'll probably end the stream because I've trailed my risk up on futures to secure the bag. Um, and then I'm just going to manage the CFD positions. But I feel like we had a pretty good walkthrough today overall of what we're trying to see. We're not done yet. We're going to wait this thing out until the 15-minute macro, but just some things I want to bring over really quick is going to be that H1, right? The H1 response under buying below market open. We're still in very bullish conditions. I would say YM and AKA US 30 really manipulated people as well. But the main thing that I would say to focus on is when you see a capture of liquidity, don't make the mistake of like when it captures the sell side, don't go in and press sell. That's that rookie mistake that we've all made, thousands of times. But through making that mistake, you can also see how to catch, a pretty substantial move to the upside and be able to protect yourself in that move. So looking at MQ on the far left, ES in the middle, you've got, like I said, you've got the supply area here from 7 to 8 a.m. candle, and the same thing here, right? So you don't want to find yourself buying ES, right now, like I think Top Step, that's what they're looking, because you would, if you plotted that position, right? So I always tell people, like, it's not that you don't take 1 minute positions. It's that you got to understand when you take that 1 minute position, if you were to buy right here, right, this would be so shitty on a higher time frame, right? If you were to literally buy right here, you would come back maybe later thinking, I wish I sold this position, right? Even if it was to go higher and break the structure, it's about where you're getting in and your location. Okay. So I think we're, giving back in the right areas is very key as well when it comes to setting up your trades. Now, like I said, I told you guys, right? It's above the New York players, all their risks. So what could you expect? Right? If you want to be more conservative, I would say use the top end of the imbalance. If you're trying to squeeze it off, I'd be right there because of you've seen a liquidity grab. If you want to be conservative, right? Put your risk at the bottom of this 945 to 950 candle. But I just, like I said, I don't see it going much farther based on where we're at higher time frames than this area, unless they're planning to do this, which is destroy this 1 hour area, right, and reach up to the 22,300 area, which could happen. That's what we're starting to see with this 1 hour dump candle. So we got about 10 minutes or less before the session's up. So, and then I'll open it up and we can chop it up here for a second. So going back to that 5 minutes for recording purposes here, right? You're not seeing any weakness on 5 minute candles, right? Especially at point of interest. So you just gotta think, shorts covering as buy orders being filled. Mhm. Now, see how they engineered these two tops like this? You could see a fill of an expansion and then go because there's quite a bit of people resisting the 71% area above New York, right? So they did just come up and slip that liquidity, I want to see on ES too. So makes sense, right? If this starts to trickle over, giving back, like you take a buy low, sell high, right? You take a buy, you give it back where? Back above the POI. Mhm. Just remember, like I said, aggressive risk placement, more of a conservative right here. And then I'm going to look at 15 because we're not getting any 5 minute weakness. And so then when you look at stop losses, that's one thing, right? That's where people probably put their risk and we want to get that transfer. But also stop losses obviously line up inside of supply candles, right? So this would be a supply candle, right? This would be a supply candle here, the 7:45 to 8 a.m. candle as well. But it's more about where those players come in the most, which is going to be those opening prices. So already kind of showed that they rejected here and haven't shown signs of strength, push lower, right? So if you can't technically, right, get above the 22,250s or above this area right here, then technically price is going to go lower. All right, so you can look at that as your area, the true area of the day, where the internal people's like risk is in the 260s, and then you can look at it from this perspective as well. Like we haven't really shown any signs of strength on that 1 hour, so like this could be essentially the supply area, and as price reached into that area, it started to get weak, right? And so that's a good area as it reaches into these areas to, if you have positions, to give your orders back to be able to add on, or like I said, yeah, be able to add on to your position or be done for the day. It just depends on the person. But we'll be done here around 10:15, guys, like I said, for the recording side. And yeah, good Monday. Good way to start the week, even though we had a slow day because the markets will close here in 2 hours as well. So that's also something to think about. Mhm. Not really seeing too much strength above that in New York, right? So it's like it's sometimes you could get a massive move higher, right? You never know. But what I like to play is A to B, right? If I know and I have nuances of things that are going to take me from here to here, right? Like I said, a lot of times that's not a 40-point move on NQ, that's a 70-point move, right? A lot of times this isn't, a 12-point move. This is a 22-point move, right? So that's how my mind is looking at this. Like this is really like this far of a push on a normal day is like a 200-point move. So I have to understand, what the market's giving in different environments, right? Sometimes when news is injected into the marketplace, volume is lower, people's fear is a lot higher, etc. So let's see this close and then we'll chop it up. Now if we get a closure for this 10 to 10:15 candle and the body closes higher than where the liquidity was, right? So like right above those 243s, I would think that they may start to attack like this wick here, from 8:15 to 8:30, and then this wick right here from 8 to 8:15, right? Early shorts that came into the market before New York. And you take a look at ES, I mean, that looks pretty strong. Um, but it's the same rules apply that we like to use. Like if you bought down in there, you've got a 5 minute top end of imbalance, all right, that you could place your risk right on that candle if you wanted to. Now, if it comes and slips you, so be it. But if it reaches supply or reaches for HOD like it's doing now, right? So if it reaches up for those 6,146s, you're securing at push and pull. As they push, you pull, right? And as they pull, you push. Like I said, I think the best spot's going to be them, being able to give this back above here. My risk is trailed to where I showed you guys here on the five. And if we can get that breakout, that's going to be really nice. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully we get it. But for the recording side, that's going to be it for Into the Futures. I hope you guys enjoyed, the breakdown of the comparative strength analysis here, especially between ES and NQ. We showed you the orders that we have. We showed you where we place our risk. We show you the key levels that we're looking for. We show you higher time frame biases as well. So we'll be back again for live trading for anybody that wants to trade, your futures accounts. We'll be back trading live again on Wednesday morning. All right. So for a slow day, for a President's Day holiday that's going to end early, I think we did pretty well. So that being said, super grateful. You guys enjoyed the recording. Let me know if there's anything I can change. And guys, we'll be on just for a second. Hold on.